What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So apparently Seth Rollins was injured in his match between Cody Rhodes to see who was going to be the crown jewel champion for this year. Now, here's the thing about this. I know a lot of people are taking this with a grain of salt because we've been down this road before where Seth Rollins was supposedly injured, but then they turned it into a storyline angle and it was apparently all a ruse and Seth wasn't injured in order to make everyone think he was so he could go in and cash in on CM Punk. And it does seem like this may be a similar situation, but there are sources and reports saying that he is legitimately injured from what he did in that match, and I think it may have been the spot where he did a coast to coast, but it was a coast to coast headbutt to Cody, and the way he landed after that, he was kind of holding his arm for the remainder of the match. So we're going to check this out. This may be the reason why they decided to have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn on Seth Rollins so early. I think a lot of us figured it was going to happen. We just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. Let's see exactly what's going on here. We're checking this article out from WrestlingNews.co. Seth Rollins injury reportedly legitimate may require surgery. The shocking portrayal of Seth Rollins by his own faction division on this past week episode of Raw was reportedly not long-term planned storyline, but a creative decision necessitated by a legitimate injury to the World Heavyweight Champion. According to a new report from PWInsiderElite.com, there is a belief within WWE that Rollins may be headed for a shoulder or rotator cuff surgery to repair the damage he sustained at Crown Jewel Premium Live event. The report states that while some within WWE have a wait-to-see stance on Rollins' injury due to a previous fabricated injury storyline from earlier this year, others believe this situation is legitimate. Those who believe the injury is real have pointed to the fact that the turn on Rollins happened very early in the Vision's run and that it's seemingly taken major money making matches against CM Punk and Roman Reigns off the table, at least for the time being. One high-up executive acknowledged to PW Insider that Rollins was hurt, but at the time, no one had the full details. Now there was word spreading of potential surgery, but nothing has been officially announced by anyone in the company, nor has there been any acknowledgement of what this means for WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Rollins is believed to have injured his left shoulder during his main event against Cody Rhodes during Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. The injury is thought to have occurred when he landed awkwardly while executing a coast-to-coast dive, which a lot of us saw during the match. He was then seen in a sling in a photo with a fan, which I did see, before the Raw taping, which further fueled the injury speculation. The on-screen angle where Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attacked him and aligned with Paul Heyman was a dynamic way to write him off television so he could recover. The silver lining in this situation, as noted by some in the report, is the opportunity to push Breaker and Reed to the moon with Paul Heyman as their mouthpiece, a move that could shake up the current doldrums. For now, the wrestling world awaits an official update on the condition of the World Heavyweight Champion and what the future holds for the title he may now be forced to vacate. Now, here's the thing about this. Once again, a lot of people are obviously speculating and kind of giving this injury a side eye only because we literally went down this road before SummerSlam. So a lot of people are like kind of, iffy on this. And if you want to be honest, the last time there was an injury situation involving Seth Rollins, guess where it happened at? Saturday night's main event. Guess where CM Punk and Seth Rollins supposed to have their World Heavyweight Championship match? At Saturday night's main event. So it would be on brand if he was supposed to, come up with this ruse to have his guys attack him to give CM Punk a false sense of hope. But the reasoning why that just doesn't really make sense is because They already beat up CM Punk in the segment that Braun Breaker speared him. They already beat him up. They had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come out there and insert their dominance. So it honestly wouldn't make sense to have him get beat up and then have his homies in his crew beat Seth up to full CM Punk, who's already been packed up. CM Punk was going into this match anyway at a disadvantage because it was essentially going to be a 3-on-1. So why would you have your guys beat up your opponent, then beat you up to sell a story or an idea that Punk has a chance because this guy has turned on him? I mean, you could do that, but that's kind of a roundabout way doing that. You know, it doesn't make sense to do it. Granted, you know, once again, they can say, well, it's just all to fool everybody. But to have a turn within a turn that doesn't really help, the only person it helps is Seth. I think that it just doesn't make sense to go about it that way. I think this is the perfect way to do it. If Seth is legitimately injured, this is a perfect way to do it because it gets Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed even more over. That's the whole purpose of this group. We know, and we knew at some point Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed was going to turn. We just didn't know when or how long it would take. Now with this injury, or this unfortunate injury, if this is true, and we'll find out in these upcoming weeks, it makes sense that they went this route. It makes sense that you have Braun Breaker do what he did. It makes sense you have Seth Rollins basically say, I don't need anybody in the vision. I can always do this on my own. It makes sense you plant those seeds and do it that way because at the end of the day, you give these up-and-coming guys their opportunity. And it has everybody talking. Everybody's talking. You have Braun Breaker pick up the World Heavyweight Championship. Nobody's saying it doesn't look right on Braun Breaker. Everyone is buzzing about it. You brought some extra life into this faction because I think people were starting to get bored, or I wouldn't say bored. Maybe some people were getting bored, but I think people were just waiting. When's the turn going to happen? We're probably going to have to wait till next year for the turn to happen, which most likely they were going to slow cook it. You know, so the thing becomes at that point, when was it going to happen? And we got a surprise ending. A surprise ending that nobody saw coming. Not at least this soon. So we'll see if he's legitimately injured. If he is, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. It's just crazy that we're really doing this again. But this may be for a legit injury. And be honest with you, the coast-to-coast headbutt, I'm still trying to figure out how does that help Seth Rollins offensively, because the way he landed, it definitely looked like it was going to hurt him regardless more than Cody Rhodes in receiving that move. So, hey, comment down below. Let me know. I want to get y'all opinion. Do y'all feel like this injury is legit? And do y'all feel this was the right decision to have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn on Seth Rollins? Let me know how y'all feel. I know we've been down this road before, but I want to know if y'all feel like this injury is legit. And do you have Seth Rollins essentially drop the title to CM Punk at Saturday night's main event? Y'all let me know. Well, if it is legit, then he has no really other choice. But say it isn't. Would you still have him drop the title? Would you still go on with this storyline of the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed doing things their own way? Let me know down below. But I appreciate all the love, support. Road to 20K. Appreciate y'all kicking to me. See you on the next one. Peace.